What's up, team? Good old acoustic, nice and plain, raw, real. We're gonna burn all 5 major and minor pentatonic positions into that beautiful brain of yours. Okay, so you see how there's 2 charts. We're gonna pull a double, meaning 2 charts most of the time except for the first go around. And then we're gonna make music, all right? So the ebook's linked below. Everything you see on the screen, you're gonna grab that from the description below. It's in my Dropbox. It's gonna help you a lot. Okay, let me just set this up for you. We're gonna go through each of the positions with 2 charts so you can kind of compare and contrast and go, oh, it's exactly the same. But we're gonna be in the key of G, okay, or E minor. I am tuned flat. You're not gonna copy me because you're gonna be you and I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna framework stuff for you. You're gonna make music. Now, the chart on the top, okay, that's the E minor pentatonic, all 5 positions, okay? Now on the top left, you know I'm gonna give you the theory, and on the bottom I show you first position, second position, third position, fourth, fifth, and in the E minor pentatonic, I show you the first position again. I'll explain why. All right, then below the E Aeolian scale, where I write out all 7 notes, a pentatonic means what? 5. 5 notes, you stripped away 2 of the notes from the major scale, okay? So we'll talk about that later, but you're gonna get it. So you see E minor pentatonic is E, G, A, B, D, right? E, G, A, B, D. Now, let's go to the bottom, the 1 chord, G major. If you see that, G1, the fancy modal name, Ionian major, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, right? If you ran a major scale, but we're taking away. Now, if you look at that, you see a G pentatonic is just like this, right? What are we taking away? Well, we're taking away the 4 and the 7. No C's and no F sharps. Okay. This is a lot, but don't worry, it's gonna click for you. If you're confused, drop a question. I'll help you. Somebody on here is gonna help you. We have amazing people. Hit that like button. If you're new, would love to keep you. I'll try and earn you first, all right? Now, the reason all the E's, this is super important on the top, back in those E minor pentatonic positions, they're all purple, because I really want you to see where those roots are for the E minor pentatonics, because that's gonna be the tonal center. And that's how you start using music and become really next level with these things, all right? Now, same thing, all the G's are in purple because you're gonna wanna know where those tonal centers are. So these are, it's just modes or moods, right? So all you're doing is playing G major scales just in, like the E minor is nothing but rearranged G major scale. It's just, you know, you're playing it from a different root note, the E, okay? All right, so we're gonna go to the first chart by itself. This is E minor pentatonic, the first position, okay? We're gonna hit it twice, but let me start here with the open string. So if you see an E minor pentatonic, again, top left is E, G, A, B, D. So you're gonna run this pattern, okay? So, okay, you're gonna see why some of the notes have 2 colors. You're gonna see how those scales overlap and share some of the same notes. It's all gonna click for you, don't worry. So just kind of run this pattern, okay? Now, if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player, you be as musical with it as you can. You don't have to do everything in here. I just want you to walk away with something you didn't have before this lesson. That's it, okay? So that's first position. Now, here's why. So if you see how that first note I hit is an open E. If you look at the E minor pentatonic, you see it's E, G, A, B, D. What's the first note? It's E. So that's the first position, okay? You follow me? Okay. Don't worry. Now, let's put both charts back up. Boom. Here's where it gets fun. Now we have the E minor pentatonic and the G pentatonic. We have first and second position only. So I'm kind of isolating these for you to make them a little easier to see. Then we'll go back to all of them at once, all 5 and 5 of major and minor pentatonics, okay? So here's what's cool. Look, the pattern's exactly the same. Let's look at the G first position. Because, why? Because G pentatonic, on the top left of the G pentatonic chart, is G, A, B, D, E. First position, first note G, right here on the E. Okay, look. G, okay, great, just as a great warm-up. Okay, so first position, G. Now if we look at it, but that same pattern for E minor pentatonic is second position, okay? Just look at the charts. That's why we're pulling a double here. I want both of them up here at the same time for you to see visually, okay? Because in the E minor pentatonic, at the top left, there's that key, the second note is G. E, G, A, B, D, 1, 2. E, G, so G, right here, is the 2, second position for E minor. But look, it's the same, excuse me, shark. It's the same pattern, right? Okay, so you following me? So let's just keep this rolling, okay? So if you had to take a guess, what positions are we gonna see next for the G and E? You got it, boom! We're gonna see second position for G, and you're gonna see third position for E, because A is the 2, it's the second note in a G pentatonic, and I wrote it right there on the chart. It's never gonna change, it's this way. Grab the ebook, link below. You see that, so here's the second position for G, right? But look at this pattern. Same pattern, but in E minor, it's the third position because A is the third note right here, right? Where it's going, we're basing this off the low E string because we're just moving right up on the low E. See how we're moving right up, okay? So you see A, B, D, E, G, A, same pattern, right? So that's the third position. You see what we're doing here? But the coolest part is they're both the same exact patterns. So this is second position for G major, right? But for E minor, it's third position. All right, so here's the next pattern. Right here, third position, okay? Right here on the 7th fret, B, okay? So this is the third position for G. It's the fourth position for E minor. So just kind of run these patterns, okay? Close your eyes when you play them. Just kind of visualize them, okay? Go back and forth. Always keep the rhythmic flow going. Okay? And before we move on to the next one, real quick, what you could do is you could create like a little groove out of one of the patterns. So just stop, do something like this. I'm just going to do it on the E and A strings with the B, D, but with the first part. Okay, so there you go. Just a quick little idea, little exercises like that are really going to help you. Okay, let's keep going. Here we go. Okay, let's go to the next chart, if I remember right. Now we're going to go to the 4th position for G, and we're going to go to the 5th position for E. But here we go. It starts on D, right? So look at this. Just run this pattern. Okay? So again, 4th position for G. Why? You guys know why. Because it's the 4th note out of G pentatonic, G major pentatonic. But it's 5th position, right, for E minor pentatonic because it is the 5th note in E minor pentatonic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, E, G, A, B, D, okay? Now, do you have to know this stuff to be a great guitar player? No, but I think it's amazing if you do know it and you start really seamlessly connecting this like while you're improvising or jamming with friends. So, again, and man, there's so many things I want to tell you guys, but I'm going to try and refrain, okay? Because I'm just seeing, you start seeing so many things and you're just like, wow, that's kind of, I want you to have your own aha moments here, but I just want to give you kind of like some foundational stuff from the E minor, pentatonic, and G pentatonic, all 5 positions. Now, let's go up to the 5th position for G. Here's these charts, whoop, all right? And the 1st position again for E minor. Now, the reason I wrote out 1st position twice for E minor is because I really wanted you to get this one up here. I did a lesson Monday, and it was just focusing on, why everyone's trapped in certain boxes. It's because right here, the 1st position is the easiest to get trapped on. It's the easiest for us to move to different keys because the 1st note out of the pentatonic is on the low E. So you see that? And then 5th position for G, because it's the 5th note in G pentatonic, G, A, B, D, E, 5th, G, A, B, okay? So same thing. Now, okay, there's all that. That's a lot. Chapters are in here. Just go back, rewatch, grab the ebook, okay? Just focus on one position and see what you can do with it musically. Okay, now you're like, what do I do with all of this information? This is the fun part. This is where we make music, okay? Now, I didn't come into this. I didn't have any plans. I didn't pre-write anything. I'm going to kind of just make some stuff up and let's have a little discussion. So drop me some comments. I like interacting with you guys, all right? Tonal center. Remember when I said the E's are in purple and the G's are in purple because those are going to be the tonal centers that you're going to emphasize. For example, let's just do something really basic. Let's start with the G chart, okay? Now, you have both charts up again with all the positions, okay? So let's do this. Okay, I could have narrowed it down. You have them separated out, but let's just do this. Let's do second position for G, which would be what? Third position for E minor, okay? Now, let's see if we can find where the G is in the second position. Well, if this is second position right here, there's your G, okay? Now you see how that kind of wanted to resolve back to G, okay? Okay. Now G and E minor share all the same notes. Again, this is where your musicianship and musicality come into key. So what if I did, let's just do an open G chord, okay? Let's keep it simple. Let's see if we can run a little lick out of that second position. Now you can pick any position you want, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can slide into that G on the D string, right there. Now keep it simple, walk before you can run. Now you can see I slid into that G, did a little lick out of that pentatonic shaper. See what I did there? Up, shank. Now if you start getting lost, rhythm is king, rhythm is queen, always. Keep that rhythm train going. So again, do that thing where you're not playing any notes, you just keep the rhythm going. Don't ever stop unless you just fall apart and then start over, okay? So meaning like, if you get lost in one of these patterns, you're biting off more than you can chew, do something like this. You saw me hit a shank there. I was trying to think and talk, but here we go. Find your way home. Do you see? Am I playing any notes right there? No, I'm not. Okay, so there's like a little lick using G and emphasizing G as the tonal center. Now, let's try something with the E minor. Now we could either do an E minor open chord like that, or we could go up here to the 7th fret and do an E minor bar chord. That A minor shaped bar chord with the root on the A on the 7th fret, okay? Now what could we do there? Now this time we're focusing in on the E minor pentatonic chart, even though the notes and the patterns are exactly the same in G, but we're looking for those purple E's. We want to emphasize that tonal center. And this is all that happens in modes. You're just emphasizing the notes out of the modes to add moods or flavors. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. Let's just take something out of the 4th position right there, because we're playing. Let's make it easy, okay? We're playing right there on the 7th fret, E minor pentatonic, E minor bar chord, excuse me. But we're gonna rip a little lick out of the E minor 4th position, the pentatonic scale, okay? So. See again. Now I really emphasized the tonal center there because I did E to octave. I had 2 E's right there. Okay, here's the part where I'm trying to like hold back so bad but I can't do it. Okay, watch this. Okay, out of that 4th position, because normally you guys know I'm gonna hammer this, triads, right? Right here, again, you got your E minor, and look at that. Go to that purple E there on the 9th fret on the G string, E, G, B. There's your E minor triad. So maybe you do something right here. Emphasize the triad, okay, with a little lick out of the E pentatonic, okay? E minor pentatonic, excuse me. To G, okay? C, let's hang on G. G 2nd position, here we go. Now why is that one easier? Okay, now that one's easier because if I'm playing G, excuse me, I called it 2nd position. This is G 1st position, because I've got the root note right there in the E G. I can rip a little lick out of the G pentatonic. Is that David Bowie? Now don't be afraid, make use of those open strings. And I know this is a long lesson, but there's so much here. And I really want you guys to drop comments. When you start having little light bulb moments, tell us. I want to share in your excitement as your playing skills skyrocket. But you see there, use those open strings. Especially if you're playing with an acoustic, or if you take your electric, go to the couch, don't even plug your electric in, and just noodle around and really let some of these sounds sink in. What's another really cool thing we can do here, okay? And we'll kind of wrap this up. What if we did, let's get a little groove going. Let's get the harmonic foundation. Let's go to G, and we'll go to E minor, bar chord up here. I'll do open G. And then I'll kind of rip some little, I'm gonna use some octaves, and I'm gonna rip some, I keep saying rip some licks. I'm gonna create some little grooves using octaves. You know what I'm gonna do? Let's do this. I'm gonna walk up G, A, B, okay? Here's all the positions. Look at that chart. G first, second, A second. I'm saying G first, A second, B third, D fourth, and then E fifth. And then here could be G if you wanna go up here. I can't reach. My fingers aren't long. Okay, so what if we do like this? And I'm gonna play octaves. Okay, watch this. I'm gonna play a pentatonic, is that a word? A pentatonic style octavey riff while harmonically playing G and E minor underneath, okay? I don't have four hands, but you know what I mean. Watch. What was I doing there? I was playing G, I was playing E minor, okay? And then I was just playing some little octave runs out of the different positions. Like, I went up here, you heard me, I went up there and I started in first position E up here on the 12th fret. And I kind of just walked down and went E, okay, so just try stuff like that. I almost derailed it. Okay, now let's just do there's a million ways we can go with this, and I'm gonna just keep busting out tons of videos off of this and connecting it, okay? Because there's so much that's right here in front of you, and I really want you to learn it all, okay? So again, really try and burn in your brain where those root notes are so you can emphasize tonal center. Now, one thing you can do is you can create funky little grooves out of some of the positions. Now I'm thinking let's think Red Hot Chili Peppers or something, or those guys that hit all the strings, like John Frusciante, one of my favorites of all time. Hit all the strings and you emphasize one note. What if we did third position E minor, which is the same as second position G major pentatonic, and we did a little riff. Let us just use the E, A, D strings right here. So if you look at the patterns, A, B, D, E, G, E. Now what's something we could do there? We could do like this. Now, what I did there, just so you know, I started thinking to myself, well, I'm going to start emphasizing an E tonal center, so it's going to start to go darker, more minor-y, okay, more melancholy. So I've got an E and a G. I'm emphasizing right out of that position, okay? You've got intervals, you've got chordal structures, okay? I'm going to emphasize an E. Watch this. I'm going to emphasize an E minor interval, but out of those pentatonic positions. You follow me? And if you don't, you will. Stick with me. Here we go. Let's go G. again, right there, all I'm thinking is because I know where these positions are, I'm starting to improvise. I'm just getting a little groove going. This is where song ideas start. This is where you start going to the next level. This is how your progression does not stop, okay? So again, the macro picture, remember I did a lesson a while ago on a macro and micro? The macro is just kind of the overview of all the positions. Just the generic, the shapes, right? Where you're just kind of running the positions, right? And you're getting that, right? Or but then you're turning the micro into doing little things like, oh, you're pulling an interval out of one of the positions. Oh, here's a minor third interval, E to G. This is why you need to know the music theory. Here's a major third interval out of the second and first position. G to B, major third. And that right there, something as simple as that thinking right there could take you to the next level, okay? You could do this right here. You can start a groove with just two intervals, G to major third B. And then you could go up here to this position, right? So you got this E, see, look on the 7th fret, fourth part of the 4th position, okay? And a minor third out of the 3rd and 2nd position. Again, don't let that, don't let when I start saying all these position stuff, just worry about making the music. So here, let's try it, watch. I think I just gave you guys so much to work on, all right? Let's just kind of end it here. So, if you're confused on anything, you have to communicate with me. Don't sit out there in the beautiful world and not communicate with me, or somebody here will help you. If you put something you're confused on, or if you're overwhelmed, I will help you. So, just do this. Again, I don't know your skill level, okay? But I know the majority of people out in the world are either beginner or intermediate, and I know the intermediate level is probably the one where you get the most stuck. So just take a piece of what I gave you, whether it's the theory part, the positions part, you know, or just, you know, learning where those root notes are and what tonal center means, and we'll just keep building this out. You guys know I'm going to just keep that circular repetition method where I keep circulating around concepts, and we're always going to loop back. You can never truly abandon anything in here. All right. Grab the ebook, hit the like button. If you're new, I'd love to keep you. If this lesson bombs, you guys know I'm going to totally just keep remaking this stuff. Again, it's the only way to get good at music. You don't just play something once. You got to keep pushing yourself. You got to keep exploring, you know? So maybe you do something really fast. One more thing. Maybe you take an E chord, E minor chord, and you take a G, like, and you do some intervals and try and weave in some of these patterns from there. Like, so, it's enough. You guys, drop jellyfish or your favorite sea creature in the comments. Got some exciting stuff to share on the channel soon. I have memberships coming. You guys know that day is coming. I made all your favorite sea creatures, though. I'll explain more. Got some amazing microphones coming from Sweetwater and Biodynamic. Thanks to them, you'll see that. And I promise you, anything I ever get on this channel as the channel grows and more opportunities open for all of us, I'm only going to showcase stuff that I would use personally. I'm never going to be hawking stuff on here that's garbage. If I'm using it, it's something I love and trust, and I want to share with you, and I want you to look at it and maybe consider using it one day. All right, so tell us where you're watching from too. Does this make sense? Come back after you've done this, rewind it, watch the chapters, sleep with the ebook tonight. Even though it's a digital PDF, go in my Dropbox, grab it. What do you guys want to see? I've said enough. It's late. I'm tired, but I love you guys. So we're going to keep this train rolling. Team Jellyfish for the win. Peace out.